Hi there and welcome to SnailTV. The hero of today's retelling is the English drama of 2021, Mothering Sunday. A new sunny England day begins in the 20s of the last century. The housekeeper named Jane serves a prosperous family on the estate. The owner is an elderly, good-natured couple. They're going on a picnic soon. Just on this day, the holiday is Mother's Day, which gives a day off to all housekeepers so that they can congratulate their mothers. Unfortunately, Jane is an orphan, so she will spend the weekend just resting. The family receives a phone call. The housekeeper picks up the phone. On that line is a man who makes an appointment for her at his house. Jane, pretending that the interlocutor has the wrong number, hangs up. Jane and the cook, Millie, are already cycling to the train station. The cook has to go by train to her mom, and a friend decides to go with her. After seeing off her friend, Jane returns to the county and spends her free time reading a book, waiting for the hour of the appointment. The time comes, and she goes to another estate, where she is met by a guy Paul SHERINGHAM, the son of the owners of the county. They want to spend time together, since the rest of the SHERINGHAM hosts have gone on a picnic with the Nivens, the owners who are served by Jane. We are shown a girl's memory of how she first saw Paul. The girl was in a flower shop and, leaving it, met the housekeeper of SHERINGHAM's county. Paul also passed by, who became interested in Jane. He asked for a name and was glad to meet a new acquaintance. Young Paul was left alone, among his brothers. Recently there was the First World War, which claimed 600,000 lives of the British. It also took 2 of Paul's brothers, and all the other young people who lived in the neighborhood died in the war. Only one charming Paul returned home alive. Now he devotes a lot of time to his studies. Studies law textbooks, but on this day decides to relax with Jane. He slowly undresses the girl, asking her what excuse she came up with for the Nivens. They both dream of sitting in a golden field with a book. After that, they make love for a long time. Paul wants to pay Jane somehow, even with books, but the girl refuses, considering it wrong. The Nivens are already starting to worry at this time, as if they are late. Paul should marry a wealthy woman with a rich dowry. He tells Jane that he has to be at a meeting in an hour. Paul is immersed in his memories. As a child, he and his friends constantly went to Henley for a picnic. They didn't prepare specially, they just called on the phone, wrote written invitations, but as if by magic, they all met there at the same time. All 3 are the Nivens' sons Philip, James and Emma. They were so terribly happy, running along the river, diving, swimming. Mrs. Niven was constantly with them while Paul's parents sipped champagne, discussing business topics. As a result, the guy realizes that he will be late for the meeting. All this time, Paul smoked one cigarette after another. We are shown how is going the dinner of 2 families, Niven and SHERINGHAM, as well as Paul's future wife. The guy is asked how his studies are going. The same one replies that he likes everything very much and is going well. He is extremely enjoying his studies and hopes to become a good lawyer. All this time, Jane is serving people at the table. She goes to the cook, who is interested in what the future bride is wearing. The dinner participants can't help but think that at least 4 people are missing at the table, but in fact more. The young men who died in the war could have had their own families by this time. Actually, Emma was supposed to marry James, but they didn't even get engaged. She was very sad about the death of her future husband, but she had to pretend that this was another friend who had not returned from the war. Paul and Jane are sitting on the bridge near the lake in the evening and discussing further events. There is another picnic of families, at which Paul was supposed to be present. Everyone is waiting for him, but only Emma is furious about it. Paul and Emma's engagement looks like an attempt to fill the void. It is not based on love, but on a sense of duty. In addition, the older generation does not realize that Paul already has a sweetheart. At this time, Jane again spends time in SHERINGHAM County in the company of Paul. They obviously made love, but time is gradually running out and the guy needs to get ready. Before leaving, he says that Jane does not need to hurry to leave, and when leaving, she needs to put the key under the shoe stone. There's half a pie in the dining room that she can eat. The young people say goodbye, and Paul leaves his beloved, honking the car before leaving. We are also periodically shown scenes of how, a few years later, Jane became a writer and lives in a separate house with a new man, Donald. He was a little taller than her, with a beard and dark skin. He offers to unwind by walking in the air, but Jane does not like this idea, so he suggests swimming. They live in a bad house that smells damp. Donald offers the girl to get married and move to another house. Then we are transported back to the day when Paul said goodbye to Jane and left for a picnic. A girl without clothes walks around the house and carefully examines every painting and photo. She also smokes a lot indoors. Then she looks at the orchids in the estate, and then goes down to the dining room and eats a pie. At the picnic, Mr. Niven wanted to make a toast, but Mrs. interrupts her husband and is upset about the absence of the Sheringham sons. The Nivens wish happiness to the future bride. Jane looks at the orchids on the estate, and then goes down to the dining room and eats a pie. Suddenly there is a phone call that disturbs the girl. The time is coming when it's time for her to. We are transported back to another time when Jane works in a bookstore. A visitor, Donald, comes to her and wants to take a book for his mother. He approached the department with philosophical books, which made Jane wonder. She asked if his mother was interested in philosophical books, to which she received the answer that it was not for Mom, but for the visitor himself. The mother is more interested in a novel or an adventure. Jane and Donald obviously found a common language, and went on a date to a restaurant. There they discuss common topics. They are both writers, only Jane is a writer of novels, and Donald is a philosopher. In the same room, the girl tells how she felt that she had become a writer. It was 3 times. The day she was born, the day she was given a typewriter, well, the third one is a secret. Donald liked this answer very much. It takes us back to the time when Jane was driving from Sheringham County to her own. As soon as the girl drove up, she saw Mr. Ivan's car near the door. There was literally no face on it. Mr. reports a very sad and terrible news. Paul Sheringham died. He was in a car accident. Mr. Evan wants to go to their county to clean up what Paul left before he left, so as not to upset his family even more by reminding him about his son. They can't take more grief. Mr. Evan suggests that Jane go with him. The girl is amazed by this news and barely holds back her emotions so as not to cry. She comes into the house to drink water and starts crying. When she comes to, she gets into the car, and they drive. They show us the very place of the crash. The car has left the road and is burning on the side of the road. It is unknown whether it was an accident, or a successful suicide attempt. Mr. Evan and Jane arrive in Sheringham County, where they were met by a housekeeper. They told her the news. The woman has a feeling that they missed each other at the door. There was a smoke in the library. A pie was eaten in the dining room. Mr. Evan asked if there was anything special that could remind his family of Paul. The housekeeper replied in the negative. Then they went back. We are shown how Donald and Jane are walking in the autumn park. The girl was staring at an owl sitting on a lamppost, when suddenly, the man stumbles and falls, losing consciousness. He woke up at home. He clearly had a broken leg and a broken head. We are transported back. Already in the evening, Jane listens to Mrs. Evan's voice. She is very sad at the thought that everything they could have lost, they lost. Mrs. also says that Jane is very lucky to be completely orphaned from birth, because she has absolutely nothing to lose. Mrs. Evan is jealous of the girl and considers her very happy. Jane remembers Paul telling her a story. Once, very, very long ago, Mother Sheringham woke up the children early in the morning, it was still dark, and put 3 of them in the car. The family decided to have a picnic. The sons slept halfway in the back seats, but suddenly they stopped. Nature was extremely beautiful. Green, perfectly trimmed grass. Paul asks me to introduce this to his beloved. It turns out that the guy passed his memory to Jane. We are shown how a girl works in a bookstore and a familiar visitor comes to her, with a typewriter in her hands. He wants to give it to a girl because the letter P sticks in it a little. This made the girl very happy. Then there is a scene in the hospital. Donald reports the news that he has a tumor. Unfortunately, the removal operation was not scheduled. Doctors either didn't want to, or shouldn't tell. A clear scene of racism is visible. Donald offers to live on, even if not for long, but to live, forgetting about the tumor. We are transported back. A new day comes, and Jane comes to Mr. Niven with the news that she has found a new job in a bookstore. The man only praises her and wishes her good luck. Donald, already on his deathbed, asks Jane to name a third reason why the girl became a writer. The answer is that she fell in love with Donald. After learning this reason, the man dies, and the girl leaves the hospital. You can see the devastation in her face. Jane, already in a very old age, became a very famous writer who wrote a novel that won several awards. Journalists knocked on her house with questions about her career, but the old lady did not want to devote much time to them. This is how our next retelling ends. I agree, the film is very confusing. There are many passages in it that are incomprehensible at the beginning, but if you watch the film to the end, then all the scenes are assembled into a single puzzle. This is the English drama Mothering Sunday of 2021. The SnailTV channel was with you. We ask you to like and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss our new retelling.